Hello, and welcome back to another episode of We Are Liars, a Pretty Little Liars podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Michelle.
We're discussing episode 16 of season 1 titled Je suis une amie. Original air date February 7th, 2011. Written by Brian M. Holden, directed by Chris Gimsmer. Emily and Paige are pitted against each other in the big race. Caleb calls in a favor with a guilty Hanna. Spencer takes on a task of tutoring a fellow student to get answers. What did you think of this episode?
I liked it. I really liked it. And you know why? Because there was no Ezra.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. Did not make an appearance. We obviously referenced him because we can't go an episode without referencing him,
Right.
but he was not in it, so it felt good. Even though Arya, I can't wait to discuss some Arya stuff with you.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, let's start with her. Let's start with her right away.
Okay.
So she has a morning where she happens to go in Byron's coat jacket because he needs her to get the checkbook, and she panics because now she sees another ticket for the Basia art exhibit that her and Ezra attended and that she thinks her mother attended. And Byron white lies again, stating that Ella borrowed his car and that's why the ticket was in his coat pocket. But he's not really sure if she ended up going. It's just like a hot mess. It's so unnecessary, in my opinion.
Yeah. I was waiting for this to move on.
Yeah, same. So Arya then talks to her mother later and she catches Ella in a lie again when she brings up the tickets. And Ella finally says that she comes clean and states that she actually didn't go to the event, but she met a friend for dinner.
Yeah.
And Arya's just like, why is she lying? And she says this is all sparked from a conversation that she had with Mr. Fitz, who wants to take his class to New York.
Okay.
And
Wait,
I'm
wait,
like,
wait.
why are we even? And the way Arya reacts is so dramatic.
Well, the way that Ella presents it, I was just talking to the principal about you and Mr. Fitz. Fritz, I was going to call him
Fritz.
Mr. Fitz. Mr. Fitz. And
We
then when
should
she
actually
continued,
just call him Mr. Fritz from now on. But
and see,
yes,
when I said
continue.
Mr. Fritz, my brain went to Mrs. Frizzle. And wasn't that from the Magic School Bus? Anyway,
Yeah.
Mr. Frizzle. Uh oh yes, okay. And then Ella proceeds to tell her, "Oh yeah, talking about taking the class on the trip. What does that have to do with her and Miss? Is the way it was written, and I get what
Nothing.
we were doing, but like for Arya to react the way she did, I understood it because I was waiting for her to. It sounded like and be like, I saw you, and even though we know she
Yeah.
didn't.
This device, we continually use this device to freak out Arya. And I'm
Yeah,
just like a little bored of it already. I just want everyone to know so we can just get past it. Like, let's just
right.
get it out in the open so we can go on to the next thing. But that's just me selfishly as a viewer that clearly does not care about the history and the livelihood of Azaria, if you
No,
will.
I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, so she now knows that both of her parents are being suspicious. She hears Byron on a phone call meeting up with someone. He says he's has a faculty meeting and Arya thinks that's weird. So she takes Hannah with her to school because that's where she followed Byron to. She goes into the school, sneaks into the library where Byron is and sees her parents hooking up.
Like
Ugh.
at the school? Why the
You couldn't have went
school?
anywhere else?
I know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is weird. Being that especially since, Ella's a teacher there. That's like
Right.
her workplace.
Right. Like go get a room or something. I don't know.
Right? They could have gotten a hotel room to meet for the night. Why did they have to make it in the school? It would have
And
been just as powerful as a tool if we saw them going to the motel and Arya watched them both get into the motel room.
I agree, but like maybe they're thinking it's such a small town. We can't go to the local hotel. Is there a hotel motel in?
There sure is.
Oh,
There sure is a motel.
okay.
And I don't know if it's like directly in Rosewood, but it's like very close to where everyone is in this town.
Yeah.
Okay, and so on top of that, then Arya finds out because of that Hanna was the one to send Ella this ticket and Hanna has to confess. And Arya's really upset. Of course you would be upset.
Yeah.
But I was also like, well, you wait until you have to choose between Ezra and your friends. Let's see which one you pick. Okay? Let's see.
Do you think she overreacted?
A tad bit. A tad bit. I also understand that she messed with her relationship. Hanna could have been the sole purpose of Ella finding out about her relationship. But I don't feel badly for her.
Well,
I
the
don't
whole
feel badly for her.
like A is always pitting us against each other. I would never do anything like this to you. You know, that side of it,
Mm-hmm.
like friendship first.
Right. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Arya at first doesn't believe it. She's like, "Can you believe what A sent me?" Like they're really just trying to drive a wedge between us. And Hannah's like, "Well, actually, no, I did do that," because she can't hold it in anymore, and she's probably so guilt-ridden that she was going to explode.
Yeah, the girl's gonna pop.
She's gonna pop.
Yeah.
All right, so over to Emily because Paige and Emily's numbers are really, really neck and neck. The coach wants to organize a swim off between the two girls, which Spencer's like, this is totally unfair, but whatever, we'll let that go.
Right.
So Paige is really rude to Emily and she tells Emily, I need to win. I need to win. And Emily's like, relax. Okay. I don't know what you're stressing about. But Spencer like puts some pressure on Emily, stating like, no, you want this just as bad as uh Paige does. Don't be inferior to her. Like you will win. And then I felt this was so incredibly random. Right? Out of the you just out of the blue, it's pouring rain out and Paige knocks on Emily's door and she's just like, I hate myself. I understand if you hate me and I'm sorry.
What is this? Is this coming back? Is this gonna make sense for what's to come?
I I don't really I think Britt had said that this is very similar to a um American Beauty scene. I've never watched that.
I have seen it, but like I don't remember. I
Let
didn't
me
think
let me clarify that was the
okay.
movie. I never saw American Beauty, so I don't know if that's what they were going for with this.
Yeah, now I feel like I can't really comment because maybe I'm like missing the whole thing, you know, but I felt this was so weird. And then, especially what happens,
And then
like,
she rides off on her bike. It's
yeah,
so weird. It's so weird. I felt like there was a deleted scene in there, right? Like there's
yeah,
something missing in between where maybe Paige was even meaner to Emily and said another nasty comment, and Emily kind of just like, gave her a piece of her mind. And now Paige is remembering, I am a shitty person. Let me go apologize. And it was just I felt like it was supposed to be like romantic, if you will,
because of the rain.
because of the rain. Like we really romanticize this whole scene of like, I'm sorry and I hate myself, and like you almost like think that Emily's just gonna run out and kiss her, or I don't know, there's
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
it seemed over dramatic for what we got so far.
I agree. And also, like, what are you sorry for?
For being a dick, I mean, okay,
That's
stop being a dick.
it felt like either she was going to do something really bad the next day or at the meet, or she
Mm,
just did something and I'm sorry I did it. But
yes.
nothing came of either way. It was
That's
so
that's such a
weird.
good point. I feel like maybe again, like we missed a scene where
Yeah.
she like told the coach Emily did steroids, and then Emily couldn't compete.
Ooh.
Something like
Yeah. Yeah.
detrimental.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Granted, being a shitty person, yes, you should apologize and think twice about the things that you say to someone, but it just felt really, really weird here. And then the next day, Emily gets to start for the team because the coach says that Paige hurt herself while driving. I'm sorry to laugh, like driving home on her bike. It
I
just
know.
seems like such a childish thing to do. Like you route, like for such a dramatic scene, for then you just get on the bike and like, like
But then she
go,
didn't seem hurt.
No, she didn't. She had like a little bit of a
Yeah. Like a,
bruise on
yeah.
top. But
I don't know. This is
apparently
so
Emily
weird.
tried to check on her and Paige wasn't returning her phone calls. And so it's at the swim meet. And like I said, Emily is starting and all of her friends are there. And then Paige walks in to support. And it was like this weird, like, I see you, you see me, but are we like a camaraderie here? Like, I don't really get
Yeah.
the looks.
Also, during the swim meet, when Emily slow-mo dived, when she dove and the music changed, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. We just went into a movie. This TV show
Yes.
just became like a teen film.
Yes. I got that comment twice
Oh,
this week.
really?
People were, yes, they were like, this felt like a teen movie and I was not into it. I'm like, that's exactly how I felt too. It took me out of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I
What
don't
a
know.
choice. Was that from something else that I'm
I
missing?
don't
And
know.
I
Again,
don't
it felt
know.
like it was a part of a movie we just inserted there
Yeah. Yes.
and it
Exactly.
was weird. It was very weird.
It's very weird.
Lots of weirdness going around. But Emily does win and the team is great, gracious and they're excited. And then later on, everyone has left, but it looks like Paige is still in the by the pool, I guess. She's just dipping her feet, her toes in, if you will. And Emily's like, uh, just like, do you miss she's just like oh, sorry. Paige has a moment where she asks Emily if she missed swimming and how she wishes like she could miss swimming. Basically, like she was happy that she got hurt because that way she didn't have to compete because she's sick and tired of being a competitive person. And we do get next week some more background of Paige and I definitely can see how both Emily and Paige have a little bit of like that trauma in their family lives. So like this is a great mechanism for Paige to be like very distant to people. Like, I'm going to be the best. Everyone told me I should be the best. It keeps me at an arm's distance from people. And she doesn't really know how to connect or react to anyone around her if they're not really jiving with her, especially like Emily's trying to beat her competition. She's not really about that, you know?
I just
So
feel
they
like
just
we,
have like a nice swim together for fun.
yeah, for funsies, and then the music starts and we're back in the movie again.
I know, but Selena Gomez.
I feel like we needed an episode in between this one and last week's to see a little bit more of Paige turning because
Mm,
the way she was last week to how she is now, something must have happened. Like she was so angry and like anti Emily, and then all of a sudden it's like I have this revelation and I'm sorry and I'm wet in the rain. I don't know.
mm.
We need it's
Something's
too quick.
missing.
It's too quick.
Absolutely. And I forgot of how quick the turnaround is
Yeah.
because, like I said, most people, when they think of Pretty Little Liars and you think of your least favorite character, I 9 times out of 10, it's Paige because of the way she's treated Emily. Like
Just in that one
nobody,
episode.
well, she's in a lot more episodes for other various reasons, which you'll see. I mean, obviously, like next week, she's in next week's episode, but it's just it's hard to connect to her because you feel like you don't get a lot of like you got such quick growth for like
Yeah.
little payoff. Like
Right.
we
Yes.
didn't get this like complete revelation of why she is the way she is. I mean, we did to an extent, but it's just yeah, it didn't really connect this week at least.
I agree.
And then that last scene, like it just zooms in on Shay's gorgeous face for like way too long. I was like, please cut the scene. Please cut the scene. Please cut the scene.
What was that? That was really weird.
It was so awkward. It was I was like, she's gorgeous and all, but like, can we go to the next scene?
Yeah.
Okay. Our girl Hannah. This is so exciting, right, Michelle? Like, how excited were
Hannah.
you?
Yes. Very
So
excited.
she goes up to Caleb and she makes sure this is obviously before Arya finds out, but please do not tell anyone about what you know and about tampering with Ella's car. And he decides, okay, I know what you can do to repay me. And just then, we get a text from A, and it says that they're not going to keep quiet like Caleb. So, as we hoped, Caleb wants a date, but it's not really what we thought it was going to be. It's more of just a way for him to be trustworthy to all like the rich kids at school. Hanna has a good population, a good status, good popularity at school. And Caleb wants to use this to his advantage. So she says, okay, you can come with me to Emily's swim meet. And there we could basically just have like a public outing together. So later, when she's helping Arya, Hanna notices some clothing in a vent and air duct and it has a wad of cash and a leather jacket. And she's like, this is A's lair.
It also
This
had,
is where they've been doing their whole scheming.
yeah, and it also had a bunch of phones, which I was like, ooh,
Yes.
this is so fitting.
It makes so much sense,
Yeah.
however, that it would be Caleb's because
Yeah.
Caleb does a lot of techie things. But at first, you're like, wow, this makes sense. Leather jacket, wad of cash, lots of phones. And as they're there, a shadowy figure starts chasing them, I guess because Hanna had stolen the wad of cash, and it ends up being Caleb, who's like, no, that's my money, okay? Can you give it back?
Yeah.
And we find out that Caleb is in foster care and that the living arrangements at home have not been so good. And so he's been sleeping at school, which, like, that is so heartbreaking.
And also, we learned that there have been break ins with the vending machines.
Right. So they're all
So,
putting it together,
right.
you know. So Hannah feels badly for Caleb, as one would, and she tries to hook him up with some of the richer kids at school to get him some extra cash. And then she tells him, look, in exchange for me telling you who these people are, I want to ask you questions. Like, well, riff
One for
off, which
one.
I loved this.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like so giddy about this. So she could get to know him and they would have a trade off. So then her friends see her hanging out with Caleb and he's sitting with them at the swim meet and they're like, what's this about? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. You both like love Toby. So can we calm down here? Like shady, sketchy, dark people? That's Toby for sure.
Yeah, but it is also random. Like if my friends started hanging out with like the sketchy guy who, can break your phone or
Joe broke
whatever,
phones.
I'd be like, well, what is he hooking you up? Like what's going on?
Yeah. And she's like, why not? I just loved her
Yeah.
her explanation. Like, why not? He's,
Yeah.
just as fine as anyone else. So after the meet, Caleb finds all of her stuff in the trash because I guess the janitor had disposed of it all. And so Hannah offers for him to stay in the basement. Her mom will never know. And if you want to take me up on the offer, like, here's the address. So he does end up coming over and he's about to shower and they're having a conversation. And he can tell that Hannah is very upset because of the Arya situation. Now, Arya knows that Hannah was the one to basically rat her out or almost rat her out. And so as she's upset and crying, he's like about to go take the shower. And then he decides, no, I'm going to sit down and just like, listen, I'll just be there for you. Just sit next to you. I
Yeah,
was like,
I'm gonna feel the feelings with you.
I'm going to absorb your feelings. Yeah. Like I was like, oh, take me back. I
It was
just love this whole
so
thing.
good. It can wait. I don't need to shower yet.
It can
It
wait.
can wait.
Oh, I loved it so
Little
much.
Rivers.
He's so swoony.
I
Such a
know.
swoon.
So this is now a record. I forgot how long Noel Khan we liked him for.
I
Was it
think
one episode or two?
I think it was maybe like I think it's 2 episodes.
And so
So
wait, Caleb, this is
this is
his
his
fourth.
third appearance,
Okay.
right?
And I thought he was super cute. Was it his third?
I think so.
I
Yeah,
have an
because the
awful
first
memory.
episode he has to jailbreak Emily's phone. Then the second
Yes,
episode they
yes,
have
yes,
the
yes.
detention, and then this week.
Okay, so
So we're 3 for 3.
for three, Caleb Rivers, my sketchy Tim Riggins, my STR. He's my
My
STR.
STR, I love it.
MR Heart STR.
Oh my goodness, I love him so much.
Me too.
Okay, and now we have to go lastly to Spencer. So Toby is still very much suffering in town. His mailbox gets destroyed. Emily said this is like a reoccurring thing that keeps happening to our poor Tobifer. And so Spencer sees the aftermath of this mailbox and she does tell Emily, I feel really bad about judging him. And Emily's like, well, you shouldn't really apologize to me. I feel like you should go apologize to Toby if you feel that way. So now that she realizes that it's very easy to be framed by someone, she thinks it's possible that Toby was also framed. So later on, she sees that Toby is looking for a French tutor and she rigs it where she takes the entire paper so that nobody else can
Which,
call.
first off, nobody would have called.
No,
I'm also shocked that he is he on house arrest?
he is on house arrest. He can't go to school.
Yeah, and so they thought this was a good idea to put up a flyer to tutor Tobifer. No one is going to allow their kid to go near him. Who approved this? This doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I think right, like this I don't know if this maybe the school didn't know that it was there. I mean,
Who
they
put
would
it
have had
up?
to set him up with someone, but
Who would have put it up though? You know what I'm saying? If the school didn't do it,
yeah,
Tobifer can't. He's
right. And
not
you know, like Jenna's not doing it because she doesn't want anyone coming over.
right because she's possessive.
So
And
possessive.
Tobifer, so he's not in school anymore, right? He like got his books, and he's
He's being homeschooled for
right.
the time being.
So again, this is like a very strange situation. I get for story purposes, but it doesn't make sense to have that flyer in the school.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You know, all for the story, I suppose. So
Of
she
course.
decides she's going to be his tutor because then it's like a win-win. Like I can go and also get some information maybe about Jenna and about the Allison stuff. So she goes and heads into her brother-in-law Ian's office to tell him she can't make practice today, which then he like pressures her into telling him about why she can't because he thinks
I
she's
know.
quitting the team.
Yeah, why did
And
that
she's
escalate
like,
the way it did? She's like, I'm just not coming to.
because he's paranoid as fuck.
No, I get that. But to say I'm missing one practice and then him be like, you're quitting the team. Also, she said it's a
Yeah,
personal matter and then had to go into tutoring. Like, I hate Ian so much.
I know.
I want to punch him in his face.
I know he's just so on edge at all times, and then Melissa gets involved because she shows up, and they're like, "What's going on here?" And Ian is talking about how Spencer's going to be uh tutoring Toby, and they're like, what's wrong with you? Why would you do that?" And then Spencer like looks at Ian with hypocrisy, and she's like slyly mentions like he's not the only one who's lying here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So later on, we have a scene where Melissa questions Spencer on what she was meaning by Ian lying, and Spencer's just like, I wish you would just ask him. Please just go ask him. Stop asking me. And then Spencer heads to Toby's, who's not very happy to see her, and he doesn't really understand why she's there. He's very suspicious of it, but he finally agrees to them studying on the porch because if they study inside, then Jenna's going to be all up in their business, and he doesn't want that. So Toby, of course, questions Spencer's motives, and Spencer admits that she believes that he was framed, and she thinks that someone else is trying to do that to her as well.
I would have
And
loved to see these two. I love these two hanging out, and I would love to see these two solve the crime.
oh, same.
Forget everyone else. I want to see these two. It's like the pairing I didn't know I needed.
Yes, exactly. And they
Yeah.
have really great chemistry, and
Yeah,
they
they do.
understand each other intellectually. And she does apologize to him, and they kind of are warming up to each other, and then of course Jenna interrupts, and he says that, well, I probably shouldn't be telling you anything anyway. So then the next day Spencer shows up, and Toby immediately tells her to leave, and she later finds in her French notebook a envelope, it looks like, that he wrote basically like he is more suspicious of Jenna now, and it's like he has scribbled out some braille
Yes.
so that Spencer can do something with that. So more on that next
But like
week.
what the Braille situation? Was that something he found that Jenna's?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and he wants Spencer to figure out what it means.
Investigate it.
I
Yeah.
mean, obviously you can probably figure out what it means, but what can you do further with this? Because I can't go anywhere.
Right, right, right.
So they have like a little bit of a tag team going on there.
Love it.
Yeah, it's great. And then after all of that, at the end of the show, Melissa tells Spencer that Ian came clean about their kiss, and she's fine with it. She has to be fine with it because she's pregnant.
I also don't think Ian told her the whole Scooby Scoops.
And he clearly didn't tell her about Allie.
Clearly. And the fact that she's like, no, I proposed. I wanted him.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get pregnant. It's like she's
Yep.
drugged or something. It's really weird.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So our last scene is A, listening to a French for English speakers CD, I guess, and organizing a very Clue-esque inspired setup with a wrench and a rope and a knife and a pipe and a candlestick. And
Okay.
yes. And then it's like eerily skipping the je suis over and
Yeah.
over and over again, which
Yeah.
means I am.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
got
So
that.
clever.
I did not get the whole Clue thing, and maybe because I watched this episode very early this morning, but I wrote in my notes list, please explain the ending to me.
I also didn't really think anything of it until I looked at the wiki page and then trivia, and it was like, this is alluding to Clue. And I'm like, oh, that makes
Oh,
sense.
how fun to have that.
Right? Very fun.
Yeah.
You know what else is fun? We have a little two truths and a lie from our buddy A this week.
We do.
Mm-hmm. A says, you want more? You need something to work with. How about a good old fashioned game of two truths and a lie for my lying besties? So here are the three options. I already know which ones are true. So here we go.
Okay.
I am not a man. I am not Canadian. I am not working alone. And one of these statements is false, is untrue, which
So
is
what do
they're
you
not
think?
working alone, right?
Right.
Like, there is no way you're going to convince me otherwise that you are not a man and not Canadian. I'm
And your
sorry.
name begins with
It's
an
not,
M
and your name begins with
and it
with
ends
an
with an
M.
L
Yeah.
and does the ice cream flavor of the
Yes,
week.
which you'll hear very shortly. But I don't know. You have to step up your game this week, eh?
I need better clues because
Yeah.
that is just saying like I'm not this person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
But without proving that you aren't.
Right.
So, all right. That's our summary. We're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we'll be with our patron, Ashley. And I cannot wait to
Yay.
discuss and see what her journey with this crazy, crazy show is. So just stay tuned. All right, just talking about burping here on our break. We are joined by our patron, Ashley. We are so excited for you to be joining us. Is this your first time ever on a Total Buddy podcast?
Yes, it is.
I thought
I've been
so.
listening to you guys for years but I've always caught your podcasts as they're like wrapping up, like at the very end. So I'm finally on track. I'm at the same place. I've watched all the episodes and I have opinions.
What was your first
Yay.
podcast that you started with?
One Tree Hill, the Tree Hill Talk.
Oh,
But
Ashley,
you guys,
wow.
I had a vision because Liz and I were talking about this when got announced that you were going to be on. I was like, I think Ashley was on Three Gossip Girls. Remember I told you that? I was like, I have this like
No, she's like,
huh?
Ashley came in when we started Three Gossip Girls. I was like, oh, yeah, right.
I don't know.
yeah, no,
I
you guys were the only Tree Hill podcast on Apple Podcasts, and I was like finishing up a rewatch, and I was like, I wonder if anybody's done a podcast. And I found you guys, and here we are 3 years later.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
I'm so happy. It's like
Me too.
that was when we
I,
started too, you know?
Yeah.
it was, it feels like you guys are friends and
Yeah.
being a part of the Discord community and everything. So it's fun to actually get to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
Thank you, Ashley.
All right, so tell us your Pretty Little Liars journey. I'm very, very interested to hear, your entire history with the show.
Oh gosh. Well, you guys know I've been very vocal about when you guys started the podcast, and uh, I was not the most excited that it was going to be Pretty Little Liars because I swore I would never rewatch it. The show is such a journey, and it was one that feels like it took like 10 years of my life.
It was
And I was
7.
like,
It was 7 years of my life, so.
yeah, and it feels like it's so much longer because of all the mid-season breaks that they took,
Mhm.
and their seasons were so long. And everything, like when it finally finished, I was like, well, never doing that again. And then I was like, oh man, you guys are listening to it or watching it now. I have to.
I know. You are not alone.
Um,
You are not
but
alone. Oh my God.
I watched it and I did enjoy it when it was on, especially in the beginning, like probably the first 5 years or so. And then, it gets a little crazy and off the rails. But I was committed. I was like, I have to find out, like I have to know how it ends. And I watched all of the spin-offs and
Wow.
shockingly really liked them. I know they're controversial. Not everybody's liked them, but I've actually really enjoyed the spin-offs and wish there were more seasons.
Mm.
I read the first book, but I didn't go any further than that. So it's been a journey. And I told one of my best friends who I watched Pretty Little Liars with the first time around. We would have like weekly dinner dates and we would watch it. That I was rewatching it and she was like, "Oh God." I'm like, "Why are you doing this?"
She should do it with you so you guys can have another bonding
Yeah.
experience
That's
because
Aw.
what I
it really
told
brings you
her.
together.
I told her, I was like, "You should listen, like you should watch with me. They're great." But she
Oh,
hasn't jumped on yet.
The
yeah.
spin-offs, do you have to know what happened in the original? Like if I were to watch the spin-offs, is that like a no zone?
Yeah, no go. Not right
Okay,
now,
okay.
at least.
Gotcha.
Ravenswood was probably the most controversial spinoff because it was kind of
Yes.
like, yeah, it was kind of like spooky, like supernatural a little bit. And I actually really liked it, but mostly because of the character that went to that show, which I won't say
Mhm.
because,
Mhm.
no
Mhm.
spoilers. Um, and then after the original Pretty Little Liars wrapped, like a year later, they did The Perfectionists. And there was a book, I guess, that I didn't read, but it was with Mona and Allie. And they were the main characters. And where the timeline fits in, like I won't say, but it was with them.
Mm.
And I really liked it. The way it ended was kind of on a cliffhanger, and I wished that there had been more. So
Mm. Do you know
Wow.
if I, Marlene King, did all of those spinoffs?
I believe she did.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I did watch the original Sin, the newest one, and it was okay. But there was so much more that I wish that they had done with it. But
Mm.
when it comes back for season 2, I will probably watch it.
Yeah. No,
I'm
I've heard
so
pretty good things about it on TikTok. People who have loved one wow, I was just gonna say one trail. Sorry, I have like the period brain today. Um People who have watched Pretty Little Liars will enjoy this newer version of it. So I'll
Yeah, it
dabble.
was fun, and there were like some light tie-ins to the original
Mm.
cast members, which is always fun if you kind of know. Um, but yeah, without watching it, there's not much I can say. But there was just, I wish that they had done more with it.
All right.
wow.
We might have to do that.
Yeah, I'm just always so interested in these shows that have spin-offs and if they're actually good. And are you just watching it in hopes to have like a nostalgic reminisce of the old times, But sounds
Mm.
like they stand alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, it
Yeah.
definitely helps to have some knowledge of the
Yeah.
characters and like
Yeah.
um, where they've come from or where they're going.
Right.
But yeah, they're definitely like worth a watch, I think,
Yeah.
for a one season.
Okay.
It's not too
Nice.
much of a commitment.
No,
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Well, who is your favorite liar?
Oh gosh, probably Hannah. She's just the one that I related to the most, I think, growing up. And um, I know Arya is always seen as like the fashion icon, but I think Hannah's a fashion icon. She's my fashion icon.
Mm.
She was like, Arya was like the funky one who I was like, oh, that's cute. I'd never wear that. But I was like, oh, that's a cute outfit. Like I would totally wear that.
A bunch of people had sent me a TikTok of a girl, I should post it, who has forks in her ears. And she was pretending to be Arya. And it cracked me up because in next week's episode, I actually really like them. But Arya has these like really big leaf earrings. And I was like, oh, her earrings just get crazier and crazier as the show goes on. Yes, her style is
Totally.
very it's eclectic, but it's just like lots of patterns and layers and just like things that I particularly would not wear.
Yeah, exactly. And with that said, like I actually really liked Arya's outfit in this episode,
Mm.
the purple full dress and the boots and stuff. I
Yeah.
thought that was like really cute. But later on when Hanna was like wearing, I don't know what she was wearing, it was like jeans and boots and like a little like vest cardigan thing. And I was like, that's just totally something I would have worn. And I was like, she was definitely the one that I related to the most.
What do you think about Spencer's fashion?
Oh, she's always so like, I work in an office, but I'm 16.
Yeah.
Like, but also I'm like an exchange student, and like the beret was killing me this episode.
I loved the beret.
I liked her coat.
Those giant poofy sleeves.
I loved it. I loved the whole look. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, but her black coat that she wore is kind of like a cape coat.
Yeah.
She was with Toba for it just gave me like American Girl doll vibes.
Definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
I can totally see that.
She did look like Samantha, the American Girl doll.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, who was actually my favorite American Girl doll, but
yeah.
She was everyone's, right? I mean, she wasn't mine, but she was like a lot of people's.
Who was yours?
Felicity.
Oh, Felicity. I love Kirsten too. I mean,
I was gonna say, I thought you loved Molly.
No, Sam had Molly.
Oh.
We definitely should go on have a sidebar podcast about American Girl dolls.
We should.
We'd
have a lot to talk about
now. So
yeah.
Anyway. It would be interesting to talk about which American Girl doll you think each girl would be.
That would be really good.
Themes that come up later in the in the show.
Yes, that would be very good. We should definitely do that down the line of like a dolls episode.
I'll write that down.
That would be fun.
Ashley.
That's fun.
Ashley produced. Yeah. Okay, good.
All right. So let's jump in. Lots of people wrote in, Michelle. Lots of people want to know what's in store for Caleb and Hanna. What do you see happening with Spencer and Toby? Okay. What's happening with these two pairings?
I was saying in the first half of the show, Ashley, that I love Spencer and Toby working together. And I think these two should take on the world and forget everyone else. So that's my hot take with Spencer and Tobafar. Hanna and my sketchy Tim Riggins. I am loving this. I think it'll be a slow journey into Crushville. Like it's slowly building.
As it should. I don't like rushed things, as you know.
I'm just curious if Hannah's mom is going to find him in the basement on the couch or in the shower.
Yeah.
I feel like she has to eventually.
Right?
Yeah.
I know.
How long do you think that living situation is going to work out?
I don't know. It's so hard to predict timing on this show because I could see it being over in one episode and then I could see it going on for 3 episodes. I feel like some things are so drawn out and then some things are over super quick. Like the whole Paige turning this episode, Ashley, like really just didn't sit well. It just feels like we were really, really agitated and mean. And then we're like, I'm sorry, I'm wet.
Yeah.
Go, Emily.
Paige is a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Like it's going to come back around a couple times. Like Paige is a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly can't remember how long like the whole living situation with Caleb lasts, but I feel like it's going to last for a couple episodes, but in like real time it's going to be like a week.
Yeah. Ooh,
like how do you not know somebody's living in your basement?
I know.
Yeah. That's weird.
And he's using the upstairs shower and stuff.
Yeah.
Does the basement have a bathroom? Like what?
I don't think so. I think she just says it has a couch and that's about it.
Right. I do love Caleb and Hanna though, especially in this episode, like that scene with them on the stairs and like oh my gosh, like be still my heart. And he just has like the cutest smile. Like, oh my gosh.
I love his voice. It's just so swoon worthy. I'm here for it. Please don't turn bad, Caleb. Please.
I will say, like, Caleb, I think Caleb is probably the only character in this entire series that I've never, like, actively hated at one point.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's not to say anything like that what happens, but I don't ever remember actively hating him. Like, oh, he needs to leave. Like, I don't remember feeling that way.
Yeah, he's pretty consistent throughout his journey, so.
Sold. Sign me up. I have chills.
I know that's why like when we introduced him for the newbies, I was like, oh, I can't believe he came so soon and was so already ready for him to be here, You know, he's just a good addition.
Yay.
I am surprised this time around at how quickly these characters are introduced because
I know.
they play such big parts of the plot going forward, and I didn't realize like Paige and Caleb and
Same.
everything started so soon in season 1.
When I read how many episodes Paige was in, I was floored. I was
Yeah.
floored. I was like,
I'm
there's
gonna have
no
to
way.
look because I don't
There's no
remember.
way. It's a journey again.
Yeah.
Sorry, Michelle.
Yeah.
That's all right. Hey, Caleb's not a bad addition. So
And
I'm
Caleb
just
is
gonna
not a bad
ride
addition.
that. I'm just gonna ride the Caleb train, and everyone
Hop
else.
on it.
I'm on it. I'm
I
conducting.
meant the train.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we are talking about like teenagers in this
Children.
world.
Absolutely.
I have to
Absolutely.
remember that.
Yes, I love it.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
actually, I meant to start with your questions first because it's only polite to do that. So if you have any, we could start with you before I go into anyone else.
You know, I didn't have a lot of questions for this episode. The biggest one that kind of stood out to me was when Spencer went to talk to Ian at school, and I was like, why is he there? Like, isn't he just a coach? And why is he at school in the middle of the day, like if he's not teaching something?
Right. He's
Good
not like a
point.
gym teacher, right?
I don't think so.
Me either. But
That
I
just
also
seems
thought
very
that was
weird to
weird.
me. Yeah.
What did you think about this scene where she's talking to Melissa and she's like, "Does that look right to you?" And Ian's talking to a student. Like, what did you guys think of that?
Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about that in my summary because every time I see Ian, I just like erased it from my memory. But yeah, Spencer like alludes to that it's inappropriate for him to be talking to a student that way, and Melissa kind of just brushes it off. So
she's like, "I see my fiance getting me a hot dog."
Yeah,
I didn't really think anything of that scene, to be honest. I think it was just so weird that he's there all the time.
Yeah.
I think it's the thing that stood out to me.
Yeah.
And he's so desperate for Spencer to like not like him, but just appease him in his world. Like, don't go against me. Don't tell anyone anything about me. Obviously, like, why would he want his reputation to be shammed? But he's just like so desperate. And Spencer's just like, all right, already. I'm over this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Spencer trying to kind of remove herself from that situation and being around him all the time and like doing the tutoring thing with Toby. And he's just like trying to reel her back in. Like, I feel like he just wants to have control over like her or like be around her. And it's just weird.
Yeah, definitely a control issue.
Yeah.
For sure. And Melissa doesn't really see it that way.
No, which is super weird because I feel like Melissa would be like really. I don't feel like she would have forgiven Spencer that quickly. Like she said, Ian told her about, what happened and everything. And I just don't feel like she would forgive Spencer. Like their relationship has been very volatile.
Yeah.
It's like she's on drugs or in a trance. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think her being pregnant kind of like changes her demeanor towards Spencer because ordinarily she would make a point to backfire with that situation, but she just kind of let it go, which I feel like Spencer also probably thought was a little weird. That she was acting so strange about knowing all these things and not really like she just kind of gave up. She's like, whatever, Spencer, good night.
Right. And like why with Ren when it happened with Spencer and Ren and then like that ended their relationship, but then Ian tells her about what happened with Spencer and then like it's okay.
Yeah. But she does say it was when they were broken up, so she understands that part. But it's also like that's her sister.
So icky. And I believe he didn't tell her everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's I don't know.
He probably made it like, oh, Spencer got hurt and I just like we both kind of like leaned in and had a little smooch. But that was it. It meant nothing.
Yeah.
I feel like he like probably told her that they like brushed against each other and oh no, it was an accident and I fell towards her lips or something.
Right.
And it just seems like that would be the kind of story he would spin.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, let's go into some questions from Kate. she says, "Does this episode title and the end scene where the recording of A just kept skipping on Je suis mean that A is a friend? Could this be a clue? Like A is literally one of the liar's friends." That's
I had
creepy.
the same exact
That
thought.
actually just gave me chills a little bit. That's creepy.
I mean, yeah. Right? Like that
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely could be.
I feel like the title is really like I don't know, like it has a lot of layers to it with this
Mhm.
episode. Like there's
Yeah.
the obvious with Spencer tutoring Caleb in French, but then I thought of that as well, like the I am a friend does not mean A is one of their friends.
Right.
And, I think in this episode also we saw a lot of maybe unexpected friendships start to form, like between Spencer and Toby and Hannah and Caleb,
Yeah.
and even between Emily and Paige, like
Paige,
you were
yeah.
saying, Mish.
Mm-hmm.
So, there were a lot of friendships kind of, or relationships, who knows, starting in this episode. And I feel like it kind of referenced that too.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Definitely.
Such a good way.
There's lots of layers to
Yeah.
that. And like really, if this person was a friend, would they be doing such awful things
A frenemy.
to the girls? A frenemy. Yeah, definitely a frenemy. Like we're on the
But
same
definitely,
playing field here.
Right.
but definitely somebody that they know,
Yeah.
Hmm.
I feel
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. Ooh.
Is Spobafur happening? What are your thoughts on this pairing? Spobafur.
Over.
It's actually
like a
not
Star Wars
Spobafur, but
character.
go ahead.
I actually don't. I didn't get any romantic vibes. I just wanted them to team up and investigate.
Spencer kept
But
like
what
thinking about him though, right? Didn't
Yeah.
you get that vibe?
I don't know. I got the vibe of like, oh my God, I feel so bad that I saw him cry in an alley.
See, and I felt like the scene when Spencer was laying on Emily's bed and she was like so weird about it. Like
Mhm.
she kept talking about him in like this, like her eyes were all dreamy kind of way. And I was
That's
like,
how
you
I
were
felt.
acting so weird, Spencer.
Like she was like enamored by him. Like,
Yeah.
he is like something I didn't even realize he was. No, she didn't get that. All right,
No,
so
I
we're just alone
didn't.
here.
I
I
didn't. But hey, it's two
that
against
was
one. I could be missing that though. I could be missing that
We'll
vibe.
see. Only time will tell. Only time will tell.
that was one of my cringe scenes, like with her on the bed. I just felt like she was acting so weird for like having just talked to him on the porch. I don't know. It was just weird.
Yeah, and she's
Yeah.
like answering Emily's questions, and she's like homogeneous gene, and then like she'll be like, "But what about Toby?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it was an interesting one. How did you feel about the slow mo over Emily in the swimming pool? Because I couldn't get over that. It just felt like it went on for 10 minutes, and I was like, let's roll the tape. Let's go to back.
It didn't bother me as much. It was kind of nice. I thought so. Emily is probably my least favorite character, and I feel like it was kind of nice to see her doing something that she clearly really enjoys and is really confident in, and like kind of in her element. And so the Paige stuff I could have done totally without, but like her swimming, I was like, it's kind of nice to see. Like I feel like we got a little bit more of who Emily is, and like I don't know. I feel like up till this point, like she's had a lot of heavy storylines so far and like a lot of stuff going on. And I feel like she's kind of just seems sad all the time, and that's
Mhm.
kind of her vibe. And so it was nice to see her happy and enjoying herself and like doing something that she clearly loved.
I agree to that. I've enjoyed Emily with the swimming much more. I feel like it does add this layer to her character and it kind of gives her this confidence because she is so good at this.
Yeah.
So I enjoy her swimming. It was just like the slow mo that made me giggle and also the music used. It felt like we entered a teen movie.
Yeah. It was strange. It was strange transitions.
Yeah.
Mike says, "Why in movies and TV shows, whenever they're running in a school that the doors are locked, they're always chained up and locked from the inside? Wouldn't they be chained on the outside and someone would have to unlock them?" Yes, that would be logical.
Yes.
That's such a good point.
Yes, but this is TV, and this happens, like you said, like every time that someone's running from someone into school, always inside.
Yeah.
Totally.
Do you think Melissa knows anything about Allison and Ian? See, I don't know. I don't remember. So I'm going to say if I had to put money on it, maybe she does. But I honestly don't remember.
I don't remember either, but I don't
Right?
think so. Like, I feel like if she, well, I don't know. Maybe she would be the one to try to protect Ian if
That's
she did
Right.
know
right.
something.
Right. That's how
Right.
I feel. Like she maybe knows something and that's why they got married so soon and they're trying to like figure out this whole like alibi situation for him and she's going to be like I got your back. But it's just like so random that he came into town just to get Melissa back. Like Spencer's like what's up with this? Something is weird. And then Melissa's saying, "Well, no, it was all me. I wanted to get married and I wanted to do everything quickly." So I don't know. Maybe Melissa's putting on more than she, or not putting on enough, I should say. Like she's hiding some things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like Melissa has some secrets herself.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
definitely has secrets.
We don't
We
know a lot
do,
about her yet.
right. I was going to say, we utilize her more in the show where you do find out lots more about her. So
Okay, good.
yeah, we'll see what happens there. There's like again, Michelle, there is so much to unpack. We were joking off mic during the break. We were had sent out a questionnaire for our listeners to submit because we were just curious about progression of the network and how to get the shows better and etc. And Michelle said someone had mentioned they missed After Dark that we had in Let's Talk OC and Three Gossip
I said
Girls.
that.
That was you?
It was me. I
That is
did. I missed
so
After Dark.
funny.
What are the chances?
What are the fucking chances
I
of
love
that?
it. I love it.
That is so funny. And she goes, "Well, it would be really hard to have it on the show unless I found out who A was." And I was like, honestly, Michelle, as much as I'm not trying to speak that into the universe, but if you found out who A was, you wouldn't even know the half of what happened on this show. So we would have so much more content to go. Like
Absolutely.
it would make it even it would make it a little bit fun, obviously, because we'd have the after dark and we could talk about the things that you know, but we wouldn't even cover any of that. It's like such a small portion of
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
show.
and honestly, like even if you did find out who A was, it really wouldn't matter. And
Sorry, I just
I,
froze. Did
You're
you guys
back,
see
oh,
me? Okay.
but we could hear
you're
you.
back.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I was like, oh
But
my
even
god, no.
but even if you did find out who A was, I don't think it would really matter. Like, and I can't explain any further than that, but it really wouldn't even matter. And watching the show now through the lens of knowing who A was, I really can't say that I'm picking up on much more than
Mhm.
I did when I didn't know who A was.
Is it kind of
Um,
like Gossip Girl? Like you watch, well, I watch, right? Trying to figure out who Gossip Girl, and then it's like it doesn't really it matters, but it doesn't matter. And then you find out and you're like, this could have gone a couple of ways.
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. Like
Yeah.
it matters, but it doesn't.
Right.
And it kind of makes some things make sense,
Right.
but like I've said, like the show is a roller coaster. And so even if you found out, it's really not spoiling much because so much happens.
Yeah.
And the show goes into places that I don't think you ever could predict. And like
Yeah.
one of the things that I always remember from there was a like wrap up special at the very end of the last season where they were talking to the girls and I'm Arlene King, I believe. And they were talking about whether anybody on the internet, like in the chat rooms and like on message boards and stuff, had ever correctly predicted the finale of the show. And I remember them saying that once there was one person
I
in
remember
the
this.
entire like history
What?
who correctly predicted the finale of the show. And they didn't even know, like the cast didn't even know. The only person who knew on the cast was Spencer. Um,
That's
and she was the
insane.
only like not Spencer but the actress, of course.
Yeah.
She was the
Yeah.
only one
Yeah.
who knew.
Yeah.
And that's always just stuck with me because like the entire internet couldn't figure it out. Like it's it doesn't matter.
Did the writers and creators change it? Did they know? Or we don't
Not as
know.
far as I
Mm.
know.
I
Okay.
feel like there was lots of possible people were speculating that a lot of things were changed around during the whole trajectory of the show, but
Which
I
I'm
guess
sure they were, and I know that they've changed a lot from the books,
yes, they
obviously,
did.
but I don't know much about like as the show was being written, like if it changed a lot. I just that has always kind of stuck with me.
Wow. Got it. That's so interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Because
Yeah.
that's just like every week, I'm like, I feel like it's multiple people. I feel like you can't just predict one person to be A. It's got to be multiple. But I guess we'll see. Yeah.
This show has such a like big suspension of disbelief that you have to buy into because like there's no possible way it could be one person being A
Yeah.
and knowing all of this information and
Exactly.
seeing everything that the girls are doing, and it's just impossible.
Yeah.
But it's also Rosewood, and it's kind of this to me like this alternate, television universe where the same rules don't exist.
Right.
Mhm.
Comes with the
Mhm.
territory. Just
Yeah,
accept it.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully I don't freeze again. Sorry guys. This is like
It's
really
okay.
driving me crazy. All right. So Vic wants to know, did you expect Hanna to offer Caleb a place to stay, Michelle?
I didn't expect it because obviously I didn't see it coming, but it doesn't surprise me that she did it.
Arya said she would never do anything like Hanna, but do you think that she would change if A was going to expose something with her and Ezra's affair?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Right? I
How do
feel like
you
she was a little hypocritical.
actually, how do you feel
Definitely.
about Ezra and Arya?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
And you're a teacher. So how
I
do
know, I
Right.
know.
so
So
that
let me be very careful in my response here. When I was younger,
yes,
I
yes.
definitely shipped them.
Okay, okay, okay.
Like, I mean, Ezra, I think he's super cute. Like, I
Yes.
definitely, love a forbidden relationship. With that said, I watching it as an adult, I fully understand and see and like I get it. I get why we hate Ezra. And thinking of like his future storylines too, like, oh my gosh, what a
Really?
piece of garbage. Like, this guy is straight garbage.
Yes, and
you
you will.
I cannot wait to hear like what you think as things continue.
Yeah.
But their relationship doesn't bother me as much as I think it bothers everybody else. And I think a large part of that is because of that like suspension of disbelief that I just mentioned. Like
Yeah.
this is kind of a universe where the rules don't make sense and they don't matter. And for me, like being able to lift um that disbelief and being able to buy into the whole A thing and A being kind of all knowing and all seeing, I also kind of I think had to lift my disbelief of this teacher student relationship being not okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't bother me as much as it bothers, I think, everybody else.
Yeah.
Not to say that I'm like on board with it or like gung ho and I'm like still shipping them, but I don't. I don't actively hate it like when I watch the episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's a great way of putting it. If you are already believing this show is ridiculous and there is a little bit of that like glorified fantasy element of it, then that could be a fantasy element of it too. And you just have to kind of accept that that is this show.
Yeah, I love that. That really
Maybe
glad
we'll
you
feel
said
better
that.
about
I
it.
am. I'm gonna next week I'm going in with this new
Right.
frame.
We see very much that this is not a good
Like
situation.
we know that, right?
We
So
Absolutely.
know
just
like we know that this is not good,
right.
but we're not gonna like spat on it every
Well, I mean,
maybe
I
we
might.
will.
I mean, I'm not
Yeah, I
making
think we will.
promises. So
That's
like
okay. I think that's okay.
okay, okay.
I know. I
I'll do
think
my best.
it's hard to hold your tongue.
It is.
Vic
It is.
asks,
Yeah.
which was better, season 1 of Pretty Little Liars, far that you've watched, or season 1 of Riverdale?
Oh, that's a tough question. I mean, definitely I feel like Riverdale. Like that first season was fire. Like it was so good.
Yeah.
And I definitely did not stick with it as you guys didn't, but that first season was just so good. I remember texting my friend and I was like, "Oh my gosh, have you watched Riverdale? You need to. It's so good."
Yeah.
And then season 2 kind of lost me.
Yeah.
Pretty Little Liars, I think, had more of like that longevity maybe in the beginning, and so I kept coming back to it, and I like wanted to watch it again. But I don't know. That first season of Riverdale was really good.
How
I know,
many episodes was there in that first season of Riverdale? Was it a shorter season? Was it 10 episodes?
I don't know.
I think the first half was maybe 10 or 12, and then I think it came
Okay.
back for a second half.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's like equally maybe about the same amount of episodes. But yeah, that first season of Riverdale was really, really good.
It was
really
so good. I'll have to go with Riverdale on that. And I did the same thing, Ashley. I texted Liz and Ingrid. I'm like, can you guys please watch Riverdale? And then they finally
Yes.
watched it. And they're like, this is so good. I'm like, I know.
Yeah, then we watched it so quickly
Yes.
that we started all watching season 2 together. And I mean, I think we both obviously, all of us liked season 2, but then
Yes.
after that, it kind of just went really, really hard to get back into.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. So you gave us one cringe scene. Does anyone else have another cringe scene?
I really disliked the scene where Arya was on the phone with Ella and like they were both lying to each other about where they were. Like they were just such bad liars. I was like,
Yeah.
Arya, stay out of it, and like both of you just need to like stop. Like it was
I
so
thought you
bad.
meant like Byron like kissing her neck. That made me actually
Oh,
cringe.
that too. That was yeah. Like
Yeah.
no,
And him
just
saying
stop.
like, "Oh, see, the secretive part about it is like what makes it fun." I'm like, "You're trash. I hate him
Yeah.
so much."
Yeah.
Yeah, just gross. The whole thing. And Arya was just such a bad liar, and Ella was too. And I was just like, I just want this scene to be over.
To be over.
Yeah,
I agree.
Agreed.
I agree.
I thought it was unnecessary. I feel like, and like to Michelle's point last week, did we really need to do this with the parents? It's not bringing any element that's exciting or surprising.
Right.
In
Where are we going with this?
Yeah.
What about a quote? Ashley, did you have a favorite quote?
I don't know if I would say it's my favorite, but the only one that like really stood out to me was Spencer's comment to Hannah about Caleb when she was like, "We all like stray dogs, but even they bite sometimes." And I was like, "Spencer, that's so rude." Like Caleb over here is not a stray dog. I mean, stray dogs are adorable, and so is he. But like, it was just like I was like, Spencer, I can't believe you just said that.
Didn't Caleb say something about being a wet dog like on the stairs before he sat down talking to Hannah, or did I completely make that up? Didn't he say something about him being like, I think I dreamt this. Never mind.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
Okay, so then unless it's in like next week's episode, it might be in next week's episode. And I was like, did he hear Spencer say that about him? Because now that you just brought that up, I felt like I remembered something I didn't. Michelle, do you have a quote?
Yeah, I have It Can Wait.
Oh.
I laughed when Caleb like pointed at I think it was Hannah's hair or Emily's hair. You can fit all that under a cap. I think it was Hannah's hair.
Hannah.
Talking about like the swim cap. That made me laugh. Yeah.
My quote was, yes, A owes me. Hospital bills, pain and suffering, tire marks on my cleavage.
Yeah.
I cracked up.
It was good.
All right. Who was your MVP, Ashley?
I had a tie. And I gave it to Hannah and Caleb. Hannah, because like I think she did the right thing, even though it was really hard coming clean to Arya. And I don't think she had to. I think A would have used it against them, but A uses everything. But she told Arya and she was honest with her about it. And I thought that took a lot of guts. And her offering Caleb a place to stay, like I think you can just see like deep down underneath their banter, both her and Caleb, that they are both really caring people, and that when you take away the sarcasm, they're like, okay, but I don't actually want you to be homeless.
Yeah.
And Caleb kind of for the same reason, just with that scene with Hannah on the stairs, and just being there for her, even in silence, I thought was really sweet when they didn't really know each other that well.
I know. I loved it.
Agree. Well
Michelle?
said. My MVP was Hannah for the exact same reasons that you said beautifully.
I also loved Hannah, but I chose Spencer this
Good
week. I
choice.
feel like her energy was like where I was needing it this episode. And I really did like her scenes with Toby, and I liked her like sticking up sticking up to Ian and being like, well, you're the one who's lying, and Melissa, I don't want to get involved. So I feel like she's at least maturing a little bit in that sense. So I chose Spencer. What about a shittiest? I felt this was hard because I could pick a lot of people to be shitty. Ashley?
Yeah, I felt the same. I wanted to choose Paige just because I really don't like her, but she didn't really do anything super, I don't know, wrong this episode. But I ended up giving it to Arya. I just really disliked her this episode, and I felt like she just really needed to stay out of her parents' business. And whether they got back together or not, it's not her business right now. And they'll tell her when they're ready. And she just needed to stay out of it.
We got a lot of votes for Arya because they felt as though with the Hanna situation that she didn't really consider the fact that A makes them all do things or could potentially make them all do things, and she didn't really let her explain or hear her out. But yeah, I agree with that. I actually picked Byron just because I really don't like him. But
it's mutual between him and Ella. So, you know what I mean? Like they're mutually fooling around. I chose Ian just because I just don't like Ian. That's it. Like I just want to punch his face. So
Same.
Ian?
Yeah, Ian it is.
Got it.
Yeah.
Did you hear my Byron? Or okay, great. All right, let's go into a Betty of the week. This week, we chose to represent Keely, who has been active, especially in this podcast, chatting about Pretty Little Liars this week. So we just wanted to shout her out and say thank you so much for your continued support. And we are so excited we get to hear from you. And we hope that you are enjoying this little podcast we got going on. So thank you so much.
Thanks.
What should we do as an emoji? I did not know what to do. Your face looks like you lit up. Like you had something.
I wrote down pregnant.
Oh, okay.
Woman with the belly, and then also a couch.
Yeah. Or a couch.
I like the couch.
Let's just do the couch. Let's just do the couch. Yeah. That sums it up. Just a couch. You could stick that couch in a Discord, DM, Instagram message, email, whatever you please, maybe in an Apple Podcast review. You can just say that you like to relax on the couch while listening to our podcast. For an example, if that's something that interests you, then definitely go onto your Apple Podcast app and tap the stars and just giving us a little rating review. We'd really appreciate it.
And we
have a review.
Yeah, we have a liar of the week from Kate Finn 7 Major key emoji 5 stars. These girls are the key to my heart each week, and I can't wait to listen to them every Wednesday.
Oh,
so cute. And use the emoji. So you get extra ice cream with your dessert.
All right. I'm going to give you both the title for next week's episode and my secret. Okay. Maybe Ashley, did you watch ahead?
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay. All right. Yay. So the title for episode 17 is The New Normal. And my secret is that next week, Toby is a free man. He gets his ankle monitor removed. So he'll be stirring up some trouble.
That's exciting.
It is. I'm excited for him. She's shocked.
I am and I'm not. So I'm hoping if he's a free man, I'm wondering if he'll be back in school. But him and Spencer can meet up and go places and kind of discuss that piece of paper that has Braille on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Me too. Yeah. It's exciting to because we aren't blind, so we don't communicate via Braille. So another element of seeing that is really cool.
Yeah.
It's like a code. It's like a mystery code.
I'm also wondering if we're gonna have a scene with like Caleb getting dressed and like Hannah walking in and be like, oh, I'm sorry, like how we do like every teen drama ever that existed.
I'll raise you up a notch. I'll do you a better one. You'll see.
Or it's gonna be her mother.
Let's just say Alyssa was excited for this to come.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Everyone who messages me, I just type back, oh my God, I can't wait for Michelle to see this scene. It's so embarrassing. You'll just see it. I'll just be like the thirsty Alyssa that everyone makes fun of all the time.
I don't know. I mean, like if it's my,
it's just like really like a very cute thing. And I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. I'm excited.
Okay. All right. So what about the braille? What do you think this braille could be? What does it say?
Part of me thinks it's the address to the bracelets.
Okay.
To the jewelry shop.
The jeweler, the beads, the bead lady.
The bead lady.
I don't remember if we see her again. Do you remember, Ashley, if we see the bead lady again?
Never mind.
I don't think that we do, but I do think that we go back to the shop.
Okay, yeah. I remember like there's lots of little sweet old ladies that the girls like through the years have to deal with. That they like go to their stores to figure out these like particular items. So I might just be confusing her with someone else, but
yeah, I might be wrong, and I truly don't remember what the braille says at all. So I have no idea. It took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out that it was braille. Like I was like, oh, duh.
Yeah.
It's braille. So I'm curious to see what it says too.
Okay, well, stay tuned for next week. I will reveal exactly what it says.
Yay.
Oh, this was so much fun. I so appreciate you coming on, Ashley. This was awesome. You were a great guest.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It was great.
And we thank you so much for listening and for being a patron. We really just appreciate you and just love you so much.
I love you guys too. Thank you.
All right. We'll be back next week for episode 17. We are almost at the end of our season 1 journey, Michelle.
Wow.
That went quick.
Really quick, actually.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back.